Well, let me ask a question. What type of diet are you on right now? Like what's your like? Do you do anything specific? Like you do keto? Do you do
Yeah,
like?
I just stopped. So now I'm a bit, man. Intermittent fasting has changed my life.
Yep, bro,
I
real
do.
quick
Yeah,
before you
you
go
sent me
into this.
something on
I,
that, but yeah.
I promote this and try to get these guys and try to get our listeners and are trying to open people's eyes up to intermittent fasting. Okay, and I want to get into that with you too. And but just
Absolutely.
go ahead. What you're gonna say?
No, so I'm the type I that's the only form of dieting I never tried, and the only reason I never tried it was because I thought to build muscle and to keep your body weight up and whatnot that you had to eat every 2 to 3 hours because that's what you're
Right,
told
right.
and that's what they
Mm-hmm.
tell you. And then I'm a big listener to the Joe Rogan podcast, and he has all
Yep.
these experts and stuff on. And then he had George St. Pierre on, and he was talking about it, and
Yep.
he's a muscular fucking guy. And I'm like, wait a second. And so I started it was the only thing I would shut out. I would never read anything on it because I just thought that's not for me. That's not for me. That doesn't apply to me. So I switched from doing the ketogenic diet the last year, which was great, and I actually really did like the keto diet, but I'm also a big believer in certain elements of the blood type diet, which read a couple books on that. And for my blood type, I don't think everything applies to everyone on the blood type diet, but there's certain things that I found like I don't process fatty foods well. And what I mean by that is energy wise, I actually feel good when I eat fatty foods with no carbs, but it stores more body fat on me and it's harder for me to put on muscle, I've noticed. And then so when I switched to the intermittent fasting, I was still doing the keto and it was just too much. And I said, you know what? I've always done really well with carbohydrate. And so I switched back to a high carbohydrate, low fat diet, doing the 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of fasting. And
Mm-hmm.
man, let me tell you, my weight, for the first time, I'm back up to 290. And since I left WWE, I've been like 270, 275 because I had to quit doing certain things, lifting and whatnot. But now eating carbs again and doing the fasting, 290. So,
Let me
and I've lost body fat.
Wow.
That's funny.
So
Yeah,
you're
like
doing 8 and 16.
yeah.
Yeah,
I do 16 to 18, and like the 16. It just depends. I'm not on like a strict schedule. I'll go at least 16, and like the most 18 or 19, or sometimes even 20. Like yesterday, I just ate one meal a day. I went and had a buffet at Caesars and ate
yeah.
like a pig. But
And
but
by the way, how good is that meal every day? My first meal is the most amazing meal after you go 16 hours without eating.
but Ryan, here's what I was going to tell you. And this was I found interesting is since I've been doing keto, and I didn't like you said I listened to Sean Baker, the guy that's talking about the all meat diet now, and all these guys on like you said, the Joe Rogan podcast. Joe Rogan the podcast is like one of the, I just feel smarter every time I listen to that. He just
Dude,
has
the guy, yeah.
yeah,
Which is
just,
very funny, right back, because every time I listen to disco, I feel dumber. But go ahead.
That's Chief John. I'll tell you this, Ryan, is that I do keto like 5 days a week. My cheat days, when I have like bread and stuff and thing, my inflammation goes through the roof.
Really?
Like, yes, it's unbelievable. Like my shoulder is fine and my back is fine. My cheat days, I'll have like I had pizza the other day. My shoulder was screaming, and that's the only thing I did different. It's just I just ate a pizza, and all of a sudden it's like it's just like and that's what I was wondering with you if the keto diet and then switching over to carbs was causing any type of pain or inflammation with you.
No, not at all. But that's interesting because that's again that's if I were you, I would check out the blood type diet, and if you know your blood type, just read up on it, and because there's certain blood types that are really sensitive to carbohydrates and grains and things like that. That's why I just say I think every human body is different, and what works for one person won't work for another. The one thing though I do believe though intermittent fasting.
Yes.
It's not like a regular form of dieting. It's just it's eating habits, and it's eating at certain periods of time, and giving your body a break. And again, the world revolves around money, and I think a lot of the things they tell us, and they've told us over the years, and the FDA and food and companies and drink companies, they're all in bed together, and all this stuff goes hand in hand, and they're not doing what's best for people. They're doing what's best to make as much money as possible, and it's up to us to kind of we got to filter through this information, and the only way you could do that is try various things and find what works for you. But I think intermittent fasting literally can apply to everybody on eating habits, and then whether it's a high carb, low carb, ketogenic diet. I think you got to look further and look into your blood type, and you got to kind of try some things with that. And then you just got it's just repetitions and trying different things. And like I've always done really well on carbs. I blow up on carbs and stay lean. Like my metabolism actually increased switching to carbs. And my side fat that I'd had a little from the keto diet disappeared within a matter of weeks. And it's just like, I never would have thought that, but I respond better to carbohydrates.
So now on this 8 to 16 diet that you're on, those 8 hours that you're eating, are you just basically eating whatever you want, or you're still keeping it clean?
Keeping it clean still, but it's so I was a little scared with that because I found your appetite actually goes down. Is like I can eat a large amount of food still, but not as much as I could when I was feeding myself more regularly. And so for me, I try to keep my fats down while I'm doing high carbohydrates, and it works really well for me and whatnot. It's like the worst meal that I'll eat is I'll go to this place, Cafe Rio, and get these shredded chicken enchilada style burritos with rice and beans, and the only thing that has a little bit of fat in it's the cheese. And I get light cheese on it, and that's probably the fattiest meal that I eat of the day. Everything else is super low fat and high carbs, and I usually just eat 3 times a day now, whereas I was eating 6, 7, 8 times, man, before, and I was like, I don't know how. It doesn't make any sense to me because I was like, I thought I would be burning muscle, and it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like figuring stuff out for yourself, because we become sometimes a little too lazy or dependent and just read what other people are doing, when basically you got to try your shit yourself. It's almost like you said, everybody performs differently. I remember back when I was on the juice, you'd hear people say, oh, well, I tried this or I tried that, but I got no results off of it. Oh, I got real good results off of it. So it's almost the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
It applies to everything. Yeah. You just, again, you got to filter through. You just take a little bit from everybody, and you got to, the bottom line is you got to try things, man. And you got to form your own opinions, and you see what successful people are doing, or these people that oh man, I like the way that person looks. What are they doing? And then you try, and if it doesn't work, you move on to the next thing. Or maybe you take one thing from that and then another thing from another person. And it's just mixing and matching and trying different things. That, I've been very fortunate to have made what I've made and get what I get for my appearances. But without showing up on TV, that is only going to last so long. And I'm fully aware of that and whatnot, but I'm enjoying, because I have these other things going on, man, just being at home. So
yeah, bro, I know exactly where you're coming from. The good thing is, it seems sooner or later, guys that got over like you did, they reach out and they bring you back and they do it right. Is there anything that you want to plug, anything that, where people can find you on your social media? This would be the time to do it.
Yeah, man, you got my podcast, Conversation with the Big Guy, available on iTunes and Stitcher. And then Feed Me More Nutrition, available on feedmemore.com and Amazon, as well as eBay, and my motivational book, Wake Up, It's Feeding Time. And then my Instagram is the Big Guy Ryback 22, and that kind of can direct you to all the other social media platforms and whatnot.
Yo, man.
That's great. Dude, I've listened to your show before too, and I like, because you're very honest, and it's funny because like guys like us, we're on the what I like to call the PC culture's radar. Like they're always trying to, they're always trying to watch out for us saying things if they think it's like sexist or anything. I'm like, I'm not going to apologize for liking girls.
Yeah.
Like,
no, man, like that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the unfortunate things, man. Like I'm so fortunate and grateful for the good fans and whatnot. But like social media and the internet, and I think it's important for fans to understand this. I've seen so many lies put out about me in the last 2 years since I left WWE. And people that listen, they need to understand is that, like, I don't create the headlines. People that are trying to make money create headlines to get people to click on it and read it. And they oftentimes they'll create a headline that has nothing to do with what actually happened, but just to get clicks and views, and just to be educated and not to know your source, where you're getting the information from, and actually go and listen and see what's said. I've had things that we were joking about somebody else, and where they said that I said that, and I was like, I never said that. And it's really unfortunate, and it's a small percentage of people, but man, you got to be better human beings than that, and not buy into what these people are putting out there, because it's all driven by money. So,
well, me and Konnan talk about it all the time. There's just a percentage of people out there that are sitting next to the computers waiting to get offended. And just so they can, speak on, so they can try to get somebody in trouble. And I'm never going to let those people get over on me. It's like, I don't care. It's like if you're offended right now, it's like I want to know how does that make you feel? How do you feel? It's like I don't care. Do you feel sick? Do you feel? I don't give a fuck. You know, it's like I don't care.
Everybody has an opinion, you know, and that's fine. But unfortunately, but again, you've been there, you've done it. It always will baffle me how people that sit at home feel entitled that their opinion is superior to the people who have actually done it and have experience with it and have firsthand knowledge of the way things work and how things work with themselves and where no, you're lying. Well, no, I'm not. I'm telling the truth. I actually lived it. Like it's right. But social media and the internet has given everybody an opinion and a platform now to share that opinion. And unfortunately, we live in a very negative society and world. And man, you just gotta, like I said, I try to concentrate on the good ones as much as I can. And but we're all human. You read 100 good comments and you get one bad one. It irritates you because usually it's coming from left field and it makes no sense whatsoever. But people are angry and they want to be angry on social media, and you just got to roll with it and keep doing your thing, and you know who and what you are, and at the end of the day, they're the ones that got to look in the mirror and realize that they're unhappy with themselves ultimately. So.
Yeah. Well, I always say those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. So at the end of the day, you know, it's like, keep it moving, pimping. I want to thank you very much, Ryback. Did not have the pleasure of knowing you before. You are now a friend of the show, and I hope you do well in all your endeavors, and hope to chop it up with you one more time here on Keeping It 100. Boom.